Hi, this is Michelle Sandovich from Flat Out Hope, and I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm not a food group. It's Sandovich, not sandwich. I still get teased about that to this day by Christians, but that's okay. Life is fun. So anyway, what I want to talk to you guys about today is the eclipse, 2024, April 8th. I was there watching it in Ohio, and it was amazing. This isn't the first time I've seen a total solar eclipse in my lifetime. I also witnessed this in 2017 in Greenville, South Carolina, and it was just phenomenal again. So I want to talk about what I was using to record and some of the issues that I had. I was questioning whether or not to even share this footage because it's really not technically professional, because I am technically challenged. I have this beautiful Nikon P100 camera and I don't know how to use it. I had my son-in-law helping me and it still didn't work out very good, but that's okay. It's still pretty, actually, it's good enough to share. So what you're seeing on the screen here is shortly before the eclipse went to totality, and you see just this fingernail. Sadly, my camera was not focused. And that's okay because I have a snafu and I have to refocus. But I just wanted to start here sharing with you what I'm using here as a sun filter, because I did not have the ND filter or sun filter that I needed. And so I used my Eclipse glasses as the filter on my camera. It was not ideal at all, but it's what I had to work with the resources that I had. So I went ahead and just moved forward with it. So this particular shot that I start off with, I edited the video down to make the eclipse portion more in focus. And I don't mean in focus, it's out of focus. I just mean more highlighted in the center. In the original video footage, you could see my glasses hanging off my camera. So I just cropped it basically in a video editor. So I'm going to go ahead and start playing and see what happens here. You're going to hear me get excited because I know it's getting close, and it's just such a phenomenal event. The totality is it's like 1,000 times better than just the partial. Even if the partial is so close that you're almost there, it's just the experience of um, the whole thing, the whole sun being eclipsed. And I'm going to talk about it as we go through this, some of the elements that are so fascinating. So I just started recording close to the total eclipse. I had some photos that I took earlier that I might share at a different time. But right now, we're just going to get started and watch what I have recorded here. It's going to be pretty boring, except for that you might hear some fun dialogue in the background.
It's happening!
That's me. Getting excited.
You might be scared.
Oh, whoops.
I can hear people in the background, including my grandkids.
Do you have an extra pair of glasses? I know it's too late to... Oh, wait.
I put my glasses on the camera, so I needed a pair so I could actually look at the eclipse. Okay, so I went to get my glasses.
Oh, I don't think you guys
and I moved
anymore, but I'm not going to tell you what to do.
I moved my camera. And so I didn't realize that when I came back to start recording. And so I had to get things back. Okay, now here I want to stop it again. Oh, I need to go back just a little bit here. Okay, so right here, what you're seeing is, you see that, let me see if I can get the cursor. You know what? Hold on. Actually, I think I can add the cursor in oops. I think I can add the cursor in later, so hopefully I can. But if you look next to here's what looks like the sun. Okay, it looks like a full sun. And this is what's so fascinating to me, because here is actually the size of the eclipse, or the size of the sun. Now, it's not positioned correctly because it would actually be flipped the other direction. The portion that's about to go under eclipse is right here. It's not right here as it appears. The eclipse actually started from this area here, and then the moon, or supposedly the moon. I lean towards that. I'm open to other ideas. Passed in front of the sun. Again, I'm open to other ideas. I've heard maybe it's passing behind the sun. And I think that's possible because it's unclear. Is the moon opaque or is it transparent? In the daytime, it looks transparent. At night, it looks opaque. Even when you have just a sliver of a moon, you can still see when you take photos, you can still see the man in the moon, if you will, the entire moon. In fact, let me just pull up an image so that you can see that. So these are some images of the moon that I took during the daytime not too long ago with my Nikon P1000. And you can see here, actually you can't see because the picture is too big. You can see here that the moon looks transparent. You see the outline here and some of the craters, but here it looks basically the same color as the atmosphere. And it's easier to see when you look at a picture that's a little smaller. It's more dramatic. So let me just pull up this picture, which has more context. So you see the clouds here, and you see the sky here, and then you see the moon here. And when you look at the moon, you don't see an outline of the moon. It doesn't look like there's anything there. And so it appears that it's transparent. So let me go ahead and show you now what the same moon looked like on the same day at night. I'll just pull up a couple pictures. This is at, I think, go away. This is close to dusk here. And as you can see the moon shining bright, and you can also see some colors in the back that almost look like the man on the moon. But let's look at another picture that makes it very clear as it gets darker. And a lot of it's going to depend on the exposure that you're using and the settings on your camera, things that I'm still learning. But in some of these pictures, like especially this one right here, it's very clear that you can see the man on the moon. There's no question. Now the moon itself is not very crisp or clear, but the fact that the whole moon is there, you can see it all. So NASA recently put out a picture, which looks photoshopped to me, but they show the moon in their picture. I'll pull that picture up right now. I have it right here. And this is what it looks like. And so, I mean, it totally looks photoshopped to me. I'm not going to lie. However, it's really not too far away. It could be an artist's rendition of a picture that I took at the end of the eclipse. Ooh, what happened there? That's going to be interesting. Go away. All right. So what I did is when my film was in totality, I took a screenshot, and this is what it looked like. This is a screenshot from the total eclipse after it came to totality. And now you can kind of see some of these rays shooting off that kind of resemble the image that NASA put out. So are they identical? No, by no means. However, a lot of what NASA puts together are just simply renditions of what it might look like. They admit that. Now, I don't know what they admit with this picture because I haven't even seen it. I don't even know that NASA actually put out that picture. I'm just trusting what other people have said. So, but you can see there are some similarities. Now, you can't see any man in the moon in my picture, and it actually looks like they've added, I mean, it looks photoshopped. I'm just going to be honest with you, but mine is not, but it is taken from a video. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close these out. I did want to point out one more thing in here. This is again that picture where you just have like a very small crescent moon with the man in the moon in the background. Well, I also have a picture of the moon that is using a different light setting, and you can see, again, it's too big. All right, there it is. And you can see that this particular image, you can see the craters more clearly and the moon is more in focus. But what's different about it is I had to take away the light because the moon is really very bright. And so I had to take away the light in order to get the crisp, sharp craters and whatnot in the moon. And when you do that, you take away all the light and you can't see the man in the moon in that image. Now, I've heard that there's images that people have taken pictures of the moon with stars behind it. I've never seen that. I would definitely be interested if somebody has something like that that they can verify. I would love to see it, and that would be really cool. I'm just not sure. It looks like it's not, to me, it looks like it's not transparent at night, but I'm open. Okay. So here's back to the eclipse. And so here you have just this little teeny tiny fingernail of the sun that's actually showing. Again, it's actually showing this way, not this way, but it's just, this is like a reflection in the camera or something that I don't fully understand because I'm not that technical when it comes to taking photos. But what I do know is that when I look at the sun in this phase right here, the image looks like the full sun, and it's still so bright that it's still daylight outside, and I can't explain that. Just the smallest fraction of the sunshine is so bright that it can light it up. And I would love for somebody to do an analysis, a daylight analysis for how much of the sun is actually visible, because I just think we could learn so much in knowing that, because it was so bright and it just slowly dimmed, but almost just like it was a cloudy day. And then all of a sudden it gets, right towards the end, it does start getting a little darker, but then all of a sudden it's just dark, and it just happens so fast. And then this ring shows up, and it's so awesome. And what that tells me too is that the ring that does show up is not the sun. I mean, it's caused by the sun, I do believe that, but it's not the sun, because anytime the sun is showing, the sun is so bright that it cancels out everything else. I mean, in fact, so much so that it makes you think that it's still a full sun out there. And once you start getting down to this phase, or even maybe when it's still a little bit bigger, you can actually look at the sun briefly and see that it's not quite right, but it's still so bright you can't look at it without it hurting your eyes. Now, at this point, I did suggest that we could look at it without our glasses. And I eventually do take the glasses off of the video, but I put them back on because it's still so bright. I put the glasses back on the camera because it's still too bright for me to actually see the eclipse, even with my camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and start playing so you can watch some more. Trying to find a good, better position. Putting the glasses back on.
Did you look at it again, Shar? You see the little teeny...
And then it went away and I didn't know what was happening, so I'm like, okay, ditch the glasses.
Wow.
And now it's getting, but you can see, okay, I'm going to stop here. I ditched the glasses because now the glasses are actually taking out the little bit of light that's still there. The glasses are taking out, but look at how bright it still is. And you can still see I'm sorry, let me get my cursor. You can still see the little sliver here. There's actually two of them, but it's just from the camera. And again, it's actually over here, it's not over here. So it's getting really close to going all the way.
Oh, look, you can see a... One of the planets. Oh, what planet? That's right. We're supposed to be able to see like the Devil's Comet, but there's too much atmosphere.
So I think Jupiter was there for the scene, and they had talked about Devil's Comet maybe being seen. We were really at a risk when we went to watch the eclipse in Ohio because the weather was uncertain. As it turned out, by God's grace, it was overcast, but it was the kind of clouds that you could see through, so we were still able to really enjoy the experience very much. But the atmosphere, the clouds are affecting it. And also, I have a picture of this, which just really makes me sad. But before the eclipse started, there's an X in the sky, and that X is chemtrails. And in fact, they kept spraying and spraying and spraying. And I'm like, why? Why today? Why today? Oh, maybe it was intentional. I have heard some reports that they were going to release something in the air to cause another pandemic. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just telling you that I heard it. It is true that I did hear that. If you're interested in that video, I could probably find it for you. I don't know how reliable it was, but he did use documents. So it wasn't like he was just talking off the top of his head. He actually had evidence to support it. So, but I choose not to live in fear. And so I didn't stop going. However, there were the chemtrails. So let me just go grab a picture of the X over the sky that started the eclipse. Whoops, I meant to pause. Okay, here is the X that I recorded right before the eclipse started. So I was not happy about that. I am very disgusted with what they're putting into our air. And this was not very exciting to see when I came to watch the eclipse. So I saw a lot of other signs as well, and in fact they just kept doing it, as I mentioned. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the atmosphere that I was seeing was caused by intentionally for some reason or another. I don't know. Hopefully for nothing nefarious. Here's another image that I got on that day, and I just found it. These I took on my cell phone, by the way. So I saw this image also that I took. Now, I suspect it's just me moving the camera and creating that. So, but it kind of surprised me when it showed up. So, okay. So the X, let's get back to the eclipse. It's getting really super close. You can see that right now it's so tiny, the little bit of sun that is shining is so minute that you can almost not see it.
That little teeny tiny spot of light.
Oh my God. Wow. Charlotte, you don't have to look at the glasses now.
Wow, that is just so awesome.
Look up at the sky.
Look at the sun.
All right, I really did think that was pretty awesome. So I tried to get some still shots of it afterwards because it was supposed to be from 2 to 4 minutes of total, the total eclipse. And so I tried to get some photos on my Nikon P1000, and the settings just weren't working, and I asked my son-in-law for help, and he did help me, but he made it so dark that I couldn't even see what was there. So this actually from the video actually turns out to be the best image that I got, but I do want to share some of the pictures that I took afterwards because there's a couple, just a couple notes of interest in them. And one is that it's actually this little spot right here at the bottom. When the sun starts coming back, or I'm not even sure what I was getting images of. It might not even be the sun coming back. It might just be that this little speck right here was not actually in the eclipse, because when I start these other pictures that I took, all the brightness is coming from that area right there, and I'll show them to you and you can explain them however you want. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for it, but it's interesting. So let me go ahead and grab those photos now. So when I first looked at these photos, I thought that maybe they were actually the eclipse starting to go out. But now that I think about it, my son-in-law, because the pictures I was taking were looking like this. I'm just going to pull up one. Okay, this is kind of what I was seeing on my screen, and it's not too bad. I mean, it's still pretty cool, but I wonder if I can move this out of the way. Okay, I'm moving up to the top screen. All right, so this is an image that I actually got with my Nikon P1000, and you can kind of see the eclipse a little bit, but it's nothing like what we actually did see. The ring was just much smaller, and so my brightness setting was too high, so I asked my son-in-law to come and help me with, because I wanted to get some pictures. So he came and did some adjustments, and oh man, he had it honed in so nice. It looked perfect until I shot. And once I shot the picture, it was just too dark, so the settings looked right. So I don't blame him at all. In fact, I'm just so thankful that he was willing to help. So that was one that I did take before I reduced the light, but I needed to just have it somewhere in between there and what we ended up with, which is, this is, again, I thought it was the eclipse starting to go out. Okay. That's what I thought it was, but now that I'm re-looking at it, re-looking at the video, I saw that part in the video where it just looked like there was a little nick out of the sun, or a nick out of the moon, or out of the eclipse, or whatever it was. And so I started to think, well, maybe that was that light right there. Maybe that wasn't the eclipse coming back in, because the eclipse shouldn't have come in from here. The eclipse should have started coming back in from here, which is where it started. So the light should have started coming back here and working its way there, but yet it looks like it was coming in here. But again, I'm just thinking, let's just go back to the picture. I took a screenshot of that so you can see that little nick that I'm talking about yourself. Okay, there it is. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's this area right here where you can just kind of see a little nick out of the eclipse. And so I'm thinking that maybe, I'm not sure, I'm not an expert here, I'm just sharing my observations, that maybe it had these images that I took from my son-in-law, because I didn't think I had taken them when the sun was coming back in, and the position of where the sun was didn't make sense. And so maybe there's that again. It looks like the sun is starting to come back in here, but it actually starts to come back in over here. And I've got some other pictures that demonstrate that as well. And I tried to adjust these to see if I could bring the light back in, and I couldn't really do it the way that would have been correct. So, or that looked realistic or anything. So let's get rid of some of these. And I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'm going to pause it so I can get the pictures back up. Okay, so I showed you one. Here's another one that I took where, again, it looks like the sun is coming back. But again, I just think it has to do with whatever that little nick was that I'm not sure about. And then one more is this one here. And so this one here, it looks really bright. Now, if somebody did see the moon coming back, or the sun coming back from this direction, I would love to hear about that, because maybe that is what it is. But you can see the eclipse here, and this little area is so bright that it almost starts to look like a sun of its own. And I'm going to show you that in this next picture as well. This one is the brightest. You can still see, let's see if I can get that centered a little better for you. You can still see the circle of the eclipse there, but you still have that really bright spot. And I have a picture just of the bright spot too. It's actually kind of cool. Let me see if this is it here. Come on. No, that's the one I just showed you. All right, hold on. Okay, it's this one right here. It's just kind of pretty. I think it's just that bright spot, and you can't actually see the sun. I think I was trying to adjust the brightness, but anyway, it's really pretty. Let me just see if I can zoom in on this, because it's just really very cool. Just the way the rays of light from that, and that again, that's just that little spot where the sun's coming back in. And it just creates that beautiful star or shape with the rays coming out. And I just thought that was really pretty. Don't know how important it was, but I thought it was kind of pretty. So anyway, that's what I experienced as I was recording the eclipse. And I hope that you enjoyed that. And I'm telling you, if I had a chance to go again, I would. It's phenomenal to watch. You just can't put it in words until you experience. And this is God's creation. He's given us the sun, the moon, and the stars, and he created them. 6 days, and all very good. And we are here to study them and to learn and to grow and to get our information from him first, not from NASA, because they just can't be trusted because they like to put out stuff like this, you know. Is that real? I just don't think so. So anyway, anyway, the Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you and give you grace and peace. Bye-bye.